Our final speaker today is the class valedictorian, Erica Jenson. I first want to say how honored I am to be the last speaker of the day for this insanely cool class. I don't think I've ever met a class full of such cool people. Like, by just being around you guys, I've probably gone up about 2 to 5 levels of coolness. I believe there's such a thing as contact cool. I might not be the cool one, but I'm located close enough to you guys that it rubs off on me a little. It's like I'm a dandelion surrounded by a bunch of beautiful daisies. But as a dandelion, I'm a little bit terrified of leaving all you daisies. But then I remember, CVA gave me all of the water and the sunlight I needed in order to grow, and I'm ready to be sent on my way. I'm telling you this odd metaphor in order to express that you're going to have a lot more worth soon than you ever thought you could have. CVA confuses us sometimes because it gives us the opportunity to be in our prime. I mean, for goodness sakes, we get to ski every day in the winter, traveling from Austria, and then to Canada, and then back to Canada, and then back to Canada. Yeah, I feel like I spent a lot of time in Canada. Anyways, we are encapsulated by this magical community filled with people who know what it's like to have this same odd passion of ours, to put 1 or 2 stakes on our feet in order to go down a large hill covered with snow. The love of skiing or snowboarding and all of the many joys and hassles that go along with it is not something that is understood by most. So it can be hard to say goodbye to CVA. Can life get better than this? Will that insane powder day ever compare to another day in my life? They didn't bring me up here today because I'm a fortune teller, so I couldn't tell you. Although I can give you my take on how I think your future will go. And the best way I know how to do that is by looking back on the past 4 years that we just shared. So we all just went through the same experience. It's the end of the school year, and it's normal to appreciate more than you did on any given day during the year. In retrospect, you realize how amazing your year actually was. The spring is when the sun shines and the flowers bloom, and we can look back on our hectic year and think, that was actually pretty awesome. You might wish that you had felt the way you do now throughout the rest of the year. If I could have this positive springtime perspective that I have now during that negative 20-degree day, that would be pretty awesome, but that's just not gonna happen. It is those negative 20-degree days, though, that allow you to have your newfound positivity. Not only is it no longer negative 20, but you can see that you overcame the darkest days of winter and that you're finally warm and replenished with vitamin D. Plus, you get the chance to realize how much you've learned. When you're on a 3-week trip with your team, you don't have time to reflect. But now that it's all coming to an end, we can really look at what we've achieved, and we should all be pretty proud. We learned how to be a part of a close-knit team. We learned how to balance between our passions and our obligations so that we could be happy, but our parents couldn't be mad. We discovered the feeling of total exhaustion, both physically and mentally, as well as how hard we could push our bodies and minds. We traveled the world and got a sense of where we belong in that world. We saw how powerful belief is, as having a coach with full belief in you is just the best. Being surrounded by those who love the same thing, just as much as you do, is a blessing. You feel understood. It saves a lot of explanations. Unlike when people from our hometowns ask questions. Of course we can ski all of the trails. Skiing is just a little bit more than being able to ski the black diamonds. There are many people I'd like to thank, far too many for the time I have, so let me just thank a few of those nearest and dearest to my heart. Thank you, Shelby Battistelli, for being my partner through that awkward freshman year that we shared. It's so much better to be a loser with a friend. Thank smiling at me when I was in a bad mood until I just had to smile back. Thank you to my parents for your constant support. There's no one who believes in me more than you do, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Thank you to my sister, a CVA alum, for showing me that if you have a dream, follow it. Thank you to my BFF, Sophia Morris. You were the person I could laugh about absolutely nothing with for the longest time. Whenever I have worries, you remind me not to take life so seriously. Even though I'm leaving, we're going to have a great senior year because the Sophia I know can always create a good time. So yeah, our time at CVA came and went, but that's not the end of it. Those 4 years of fun, pain, frostbite, and celebration are not just thrown out. They are immortalized into our brains and our souls, and they are what will propel us into the future. I started out CVA as an awkward young grasshopper who couldn't talk to anyone. And now I'm still awkward, but CVA, transformed me into someone that I'm proud to be. I'm happy to say that I have transformed from a dandelion to a daisy, and I'm ready to be sent on my way.